artificial intelligence.
Yeah,
Well, it's everywhere, isn't it? Almost this invisible current shaping, so much of our world now.
absolutely. From the everyday stuff to, well, the really big picture changes.
Exactly. And it's sparking incredible potential, but also, let's be honest, some pretty significant questions.
Definitely raises questions.
So today we're going to do a real deep dive into what's happening with AI right now, the good stuff, the potential pitfalls, the breakthroughs, all of it.
Yep. We've pulled together a lot of recent material looking at the last couple of years mainly, 2023 through to now, early 2025.
So a pretty current snapshot of where things stand.
That's the idea. Forget the sci-fi robots for a second. This is about the real shifts happening now.
Okay.
We'll look at the actual benefits AI is delivering, the challenges, and the real challenges, the, frankly, astonishing pace of development lately.
Yeah, it feels incredibly fast.
It is. And also some of the really crucial ethical things we need to be thinking about as this tech, grows up.
Okay, so when we say AI, it feels like this huge kind of catch-all term. Maybe we should break that down first. Like, what are the main types we should have in mind?
Good place to start, yeah.
Mm.
Broadly, you can think about it in a few stages maybe. First up is what we call narrow AI, sometimes weak AI.
Narrow AI.
This is AI that's really good at one specific thing. Think Siri understanding your voice or Spotify figuring out your next favorite song.
Right, like the recommendation engines.
Exactly. Or even early Chat GPT, which was mostly about generating text. It's brilliant at its task, but that's it.
So it can't just switch to doing something else.
Yeah. An AI that beats a grandmaster at Go can't suddenly translate Mandarin or, diagnose a medical condition. It operates in its own little sandbox.
Got it. Specialized skills. So what's the next level then?
That would be the concept of general AI, AGI, artificial general intelligence.
AGI, right? Heard that term.
So this is the idea of an AI that can understand, learn, and apply knowledge across a whole bunch of different tasks, much more like a human.
Like us. Able to reason, solve new problems.
Exactly. Adapt its thinking to different situations. It's important to say, though AGI doesn't actually exist yet.
Ah, okay. So it's still theoretical.
Very much so.
Yeah.
It's a major long-term goal for a lot of researchers, but we're not there.
Okay. So narrow AI is what we have now. AGI is the goal. And then there's the one that makes people a bit nervous sometimes.
That's super intelligent AI,
Got it.
ASI.
Right.
This is, again, hypothetical. But it's the idea of AI surpassing human intelligence across the board. Not just specific skills, but creativity, complex problem-solving, abstract thought, everything.
Wow, okay.
And that's where, a lot of the really big long-term philosophical debates kick in.
Yeah.
Potential impacts, control, all that stuff. Still theory, but it shapes the conversation.
Okay, clear. So different levels of intelligence. Now, what's actually making it work? What are the core technologies, the building blocks?
Right, under the hood. Well, first there's machine learning, ML. This is fundamental.
Machine learning.
Instead of programming every single rule, you feed the algorithms data, and they learn patterns from it, make predictions.
So it learns from experience, kind of?
Sort of, yeah. Learning from data. And there are different ways it learns. There's supervised learning. That's like having a teacher.
Yeah.
You show it labeled examples, this is a cat, this is the dog, and it learns the difference.
Okay.
Then there's unsupervised learning, more like exploring. Given a ton of data, and it finds hidden structures itself, like grouping customers by buying habits without being told the groups beforehand.
Interesting.
And then there's reinforcement learning, learning by trial and error, get reward for a good move, a penalty for a bad one. That's how AI learned to play complex games like Go or chess at superhuman levels.
Okay, so different ways for the AI to learn from information. What else is key?
Neural networks and deep learning, huge area.
Inspired by the brain, right.
Exactly. They use these interconnected layers of processing units, sort of like artificial neurons that work together to analyze information. Deep learning just means using networks with lots of layers.
And that's good for complex stuff.
Incredibly good. Image recognition, understanding speech, making really sophisticated decisions. Deep learning is behind a lot of the recent breakthroughs.
Fascinating. And, the AI we talk to every day, that relies on something specific, doesn't it?
Yes. Natural language processing, NLP.
That sounds important.
It is. It's how computers understand, interpret, and even generate human language. Translation, summarizing text, figuring out if a review is positive or negative.
So ChatGPT, Google Translate.
All powered by NLP. Grammarly checking your writing.
Yeah.
NLP again, it's everywhere we interact with text or speech via computers.
Okay. Makes sense. What other pieces are in this tech puzzle?
Computer vision is another big one. Letting computers see and understand images and videos.
Like facial recognition.
That's one application, yeah. But also identifying objects in a photo, analyzing medical scans, guiding self-driving cars.
Hmm.
It's crucial for anything that needs to visually interpret the world.
And then bringing AI into the physical world.
That's robotics.
Hmm.
Combining AI algorithms with actual robots so they can perceive their surroundings, move smartly, interact with things.
Like the robots in warehouses.
Exactly. Or those advanced surgical robots assisting doctors. AI gives the physical robot its intelligence.
Okay, so it's this whole suite of technologies, learning, seeing, understanding language, acting physically. Got it. Now, let's talk impact. What are the big benefits we're actually seeing?
Well, one of the most obvious is just boosting efficiency and productivity everywhere.
How so?
AI is great at automating routine, repetitive tasks. That frees up people for more complex, creative, or strategic work.
Right, takes the grunt work away.
Precisely. And the numbers are, well, pretty significant. McKinsey estimated generative AI alone could add trillions to the global economy each year.
Trillions. Wow.
Yeah, mostly through these productivity gains. And we see it practice. Some studies show using tools like ChatGPT can boost individual worker performance by, I think one figure was around 66%.
66%, that's huge.
It is. People in customer service, writing, coding, they report getting tasks done much faster, maybe 30–40% quicker. It's like having a super efficient assistant.
A force multiplier for what people can do. Okay. Where else is AI really making a difference?
Innovation, driving completely new solutions and scientific discovery.
Like in science.
Definitely. Take DeepMind's AlphaFold 3 from 2024. Its ability to predict how proteins fold into 3D shapes, and even how they interact with DNA and other molecules. And it's become incredibly accurate.
AlphaFold. I remember hearing about that for drug discovery.
Exactly. It's up to twice as good as older methods for some interactions. And it's not just predicting structure, but how proteins interact with other vital molecules. That was a huge hurdle.
So it really helps understand biology at a fundamental level.
Massively. Opens up totally new ways to design targeted drugs, understand diseases. It's a game changer for biological research.
Incredible. And beyond science.
Well, there's the creative side, too. AI tools like Daily 3, generating images from text descriptions, or advanced models helping write stories or music. New forms of expression.
Yeah, the AI art stuff is everywhere. What about making things more available? Scaling things up?
That's another key strength. AI lets you scale services massively. Think chatbots handling millions of customer queries or recommendation engines serving personalized content to everyone.
Like Netflix knowing what I want to watch.
Exactly. Or analyzing huge data sets automatically. And it allows for more personalization, too, in education, healthcare, even finance.
Not healthcare.
AI-powered diagnostics, for instance. They show real promise for spotting diseases earlier and more accurately, making high-quality diagnostics potentially more accessible.
That could save lives.
Potentially, yes. And then you have autonomous systems, like Waymo's self-driving cars.
Ah, yeah, the robotaxis.
Right. Their latest generation uses this complex sensor suite cameras, LiDAR, radar, to operate safely in lots of different conditions. They can handle complex driving tasks at scale, which could eventually transform transportation.
So scaling up complex operations. And it's not just replacing people, right? It's also helping skilled workers.
Absolutely. It's often about augmenting human experts, making them better, faster.
How does that work?
In programming, for example, models like GPT-4 can help find bugs, write code faster, sometimes even suggest more secure ways to do things.
So coder's assistant.
Kinda. Yeah. Journalists use AI to summarize long reports quickly. Doctors get help interpreting complex scans. Financial analysts use it to spot subtle patterns in market data.
So it handles the heavy lifting data-wise.
Often, yes, or the repetitive parts. It frees up the experts to focus on the high-level thinking, the strategy, the critical judgments only a human can make right now.
Okay. It sounds like AI is a powerful amplifier in many ways.
But
But there's always but, isn't there? Let's talk about the risks, the
Right.
challenges.
Right. And they're significant. One of the biggest concerns is definitely job disruption. Automation.
The robots taking our jobs.
Well, it's more nuanced than that, but yes, automation is a real factor. Some estimates suggest tens of millions of U.S. jobs could be affected in the coming years.
Tens of millions.
That's what some WEF reports suggest, yeah. And they also found like 40% of employers were planning workforce cuts because of AI automation.
Wow. Which jobs are most at risk?
Seems to be entry-level roles, things involving routine tasks, sales, some types of analysis, that kind of thing.
But new jobs will be created too, surely.
Oh, definitely. New roles related to developing, managing, and working alongside AI. But the big challenge is the transition. How do you retrain millions of people, upskill them for these new roles?
That's a huge societal challenge.
It is. And there's data showing, younger generations, Gen Z, are getting anxious about whether their degrees will even be valuable in this new landscape.
Understandable anxiety. Okay, economic impact is huge. What about fairness, bias?
Critical issue. AI models learn from data. If that data reflects existing societal biases, racial, gender, whatever, the AI learns those biases too.
And then applies them.
Worse, it can actually amplify them. There's a well-known case with a healthcare algorithm.
Oh, yeah?
It systematically underestimated the health needs of Black patients compared to white patients with similar conditions. Why?
Oh.
Because it was trained on historical cost data, and historically less money was spent on Black patients' care, even for the same level of need.
Oh, wow. So the AI just encoded that historical inequity.
Exactly, and recommended less care. You see potential for similar bias in hiring tools, loan applications, even law enforcement algorithms,
And it's hard to spot.
especially in complex black box models, where you can't easily see why it made a certain decision. Detecting and fixing that bias is a major ongoing challenge.
That lack of transparency is worrying. It kind of links to another big risk too, right?
Yeah.
Misinformation.
Absolutely. Generative AI makes creating convincing fake deepfakes incredibly easy now. Fake audio, fake video, fake images.
Like that fake Biden phone call thing.
Exactly. That was early 2024. An attempt to interfere with an election using deep fake audio. While a lot of the AI election content that year turned out to be more like open satire or memes,
Right.
the potential for malicious deepfakes to spread disinformation, sow chaos, erode trust, it's huge. And getting harder to tell real from fake.
Yeah, it undermines our sense of reality online.
Yeah.
And the risks get even heavier.
Yes. Autonomous weapons, lethal autonomous weapons systems, or lead AWS. Killer robots,
That
basically.
sounds genuinely terrifying.
It raises profound ethical and security questions. AI making kill decisions without direct human control. You may find that deeply problematic.
Is anyone trying to stop it?
There's international pressure. The UN voted in late 2024 to start negotiating a treaty on it. Experts warn it could make warfare far more unpredictable, maybe even uncontrollable.
Unpredictable warfare.
And beyond that, AI can be misused for more sophisticated cyber attacks or for creating really intrusive surveillance systems. Privacy is a huge concern there.
Yeah. So economic disruption, bias, misinformation, scary weapons, privacy invasion. It's quite a list.
It is. And underlying a lot of it are these broader ethical questions about control, transparency, accountability. The black box problem again. U.S. policy documents explicitly mention concerns about fraud, discrimination, disinformation, job displacement, national security. It's a wide range.
Okay, so lots to grapple with. But development isn't slowing down. What are some of the really exciting recent breakthroughs, the cutting edge stuff?
The pace is just wild.
Yeah.
Especially in language models. We went from GPT-4, which was already amazing, handling text and images,
Right.
to GPT-4 Turbo, which could handle way more information at once, like a much bigger memory.
Longer conversations.
Exactly. And then GPT-4, the O for Omni, real-time processing of text, audio, and images. It can talk, listen, see, and respond almost instantly, much more like a natural interaction.
Wow, so much more conversational.
Yeah, and multimodal in real time. And it's not just OpenAI. Anthropic's Claude 3.5 models are showing impressive reasoning, great coding skills.
God.
And they introduced this novel computer use capability. The AI can actually operate a computer interface, click buttons, type text, use software.
Seriously, the AI can use the computer itself.
Yeah, it's a big step towards what people call more agentic AI. AI that can take actions in the digital world on your behalf.
That is a significant step. What about the creative side? Images, media?
Huge leaps there, too. Text-to-image models like DALL-E 3. The quality and nuance they can get from really complex prompts is incredible now. High-fidelity stuff.
Yeah, some of the images are amazing.
And things like Stable Diffusion, being open source, have really democratized it. Put powerful image generation tools in lots of people's hands. Plus, we're seeing big improvements in generative video and audio, too. New creative avenues opening up constantly.
Tools for creativity just getting way more powerful. And AI is getting more physical, too, right? In robotics.
Definitely. Boston Dynamics, parkour robots.
Yeah.
They deepen their partnership with NVIDIA, integrating more advanced AI, making Atlas move even more fluidly, handle tasks with more dexterity.
So smarter robots.
Smarter, more capable physical robots. And in self-driving, Waymo's 6th-gen hardware isn't just better sensors, it's also lower cost. That helps them expand their driverless service to more places, more conditions.
Makes sense. Cheaper and better helps roll it out.
Plus, you see ongoing development in industrial robots for warehouses and even consumer robots like Tesla's Optimus project, though that's still early days.
So AI is moving from digital assistants to actual physical helpers. And it's impacting basic science, too, beyond biology.
Oh yeah, AI is being used to optimize climate models, making predictions more accurate. It's helping mathematicians prove complex theorems, and we already mentioned coding assistants like GitHub Copilot, drastically speeding up software development.
So the same core AI ideas are finding applications everywhere.
Pretty much. It's about applying these powerful learning architectures to different kinds of data and problems, accelerating discovery across the board.
Okay, so incredible advancements. But that brings us back to managing it all. What's happening with ethics and regulation? How are we trying to guide this?
Well, there's a definite global push for frameworks. The EU's AI Act is a major example.
Right, the AI Act. What's the main idea there?
It takes a risk-based approach. Some AI uses are banned outright, like social scoring by governments. High-risk systems, like in medical devices or critical infrastructure, face strict requirements. The goal is what they call trustworthy AI.
So different rules depending on the potential harm.
Exactly. And in the U.S., President Biden's 2023 executive order laid out principles for safe, secure, trustworthy AI development. Similar efforts are happening worldwide. It's a recognition that we need guardrails.
Balancing innovation with safety. What about inside the AI labs themselves? Are they focused on safety?
Increasingly, yes. Major players like OpenAI, DeepMind, Anthropic, they all talk a lot about safety research, responsible development. Many advocate for caution.
So self-regulation attempts.
To some extent. Plus, there are those international treaty discussions on autonomous weapons, cyber risks, and industry practices like red teaming.
Red teaming, what's that?
Basically, deliberately trying to break or misuse your own AI system before you release it to find vulnerabilities, like ethical hacking for AI. And AI auditing is becoming a thing, checking if systems meet ethical standards.
Okay, so efforts are being made. But are ethical problems still popping up in the real world?
Oh, absolutely. We talked about deepfakes and misinformation on social media that's ongoing. There are big debates about AI for content moderation, censorship versus free speech.
Right.
Education saw issues with AI cheating, leading to some early chat GPT bans in schools. And regulators are watching AI in finance very closely for potential discrimination in lending, for example.
And that black box issue comes up again?
Definitely. The EU regulation specifically highlights the difficulty.
Yeah.
How do you know if you were treated unfairly by an AI decision if you can't understand how the decision was made? Accountability is tough with opaque systems.
Yeah, that's a fundamental problem. And these impacts aren't just theoretical. They're hitting education and work now, right? We're seeing shifts.
For sure. There's this big push, like over 200 CEOs recently advocating for mandatory AI and computer science courses in high school.
Why the push?
They cite research showing these skills lead to higher salaries, better opportunities, especially for underrepresented groups.
Yeah.
But progress is slow. Only about 12 states currently require CS for graduation, though more have plans.
So a skills gap emerging.
Potentially, yeah.
Yeah.
And companies are reacting. Salesforce, for instance, rolled out AI career coaches internally.
AI career coaches.
Yeah, tools called Career Connect and Career Agent. They help employees find internal job opportunities, figure out what skills they need, suggest training. Early results from their pilot showed good employee engagement, helps with internal hiring and upskilling.
Interesting. Using AI to help the workforce adapt to, well, AI. What about how we just find information day to day? Is that changing too?
Yep, Google just launched an AI mode in search.
AI mode. How's that different from the AI summaries they already had?
It aims to be more conversational. Instead of just links or even just a summary, it's designed to give you more direct AI-generated answers and engage in a kind of dialogue about your query, a more integrated AI experience within search.
So search itself becomes more like talking to an AI.
That seems to be the direction, yeah.
And the underlying models keep getting better, I assume.
Relentlessly. Meta recently brought out their Llama 4 series. Multimodal, multilingual, handles like 12 languages apparently. They claim it beats GPT-4o on some tests, though, benchmarks are always debated.
Right, benchmark wars. But the trend is clear, more powerful models.
Definitely. using techniques like mixture of experts to get bigger and better.
And as capabilities grow, the governance needs to keep up. There was that recent law about deepfakes.
Ah, yes, the Take It Down Act, passed in the U.S. late April 2025.
What does it do?
It makes creating and sharing non-consensual deepfake porn a federal crime, and it forces social media platforms to remove that kind of content quickly within 48 hours.
And that had broad support.
Apparently, yes, strong bipartisan backing. A clear sign that lawmakers see the urgent need to address specific harms from AI misuse.
A concrete step. And despite maybe some tech stock wobbles, investment in AI overall is still strong.
Seems so. UBS projected a big jump, like 60% in global AI spending for 2025, even with other tech sectors maybe cooling a bit. The belief in AI's long-term value seems solid.
So money is still pouring in. But there's one more cost we need to consider, right? The environmental one.
Yes, that's becoming a much bigger part of the conversation.
Yeah.
The 2025 AI Index report really highlighted this.
What did it find?
A significant increase in the carbon footprint from training these massive AI models. While using AI might get more efficient, building the foundational models takes enormous amounts of energy.
So training AI is energy intensive.
Hugely. It raises serious questions about sustainable AI development. How do we balance progress with environmental responsibility? It's a growing concern.
Okay, so wrapping this up. AI is clearly this double-edged sword, incredible potential for good efficiency, new discoveries, making things more accessible.
Absolutely. Transformative potential.
But at the same time, these significant risks, job shifts, bias, misinformation, ethical dilemmas, even environmental costs.
Exactly. It presents challenges that demand really careful thought and proactive management.
And the sheer speed of it all, the breakthroughs we just discussed in language generation robotics, it means we constantly need to be talking about this, adapting policy, ethics, our own understanding.
Continuous dialogue is crucial. We can't afford to stand still as the technology races ahead.
It really feels like we're at this critical juncture, finding that balance, embracing the power of AI, while actively mitigating the harms that it feels like the core challenge for all of us, really.
It is. How we navigate this next phase will shape a lot about our future.
Well, hopefully this deep dive has given you, our listener, a clearer picture of the landscape, maybe sparked some thoughts, and perhaps pointed you towards areas of AI you want to explore further yourself.